Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Good morning.
We are in Mishnayos Erevin, Parak Aleph, Chapter 1, up to Mishna Tes. Dedicate this morning's learning memory of my mother, Mr. Shalom, Mr. Binowitz. Okay, so we can do the previous Mishnah spoke about what people are in a caravan and they're stopping for Shabbos, and now they want to create a Rishus Hayach, a private domain to be able to carry within the camp. And so before we spoke about the walls, what kind of wall? They make the makeshift walls by piling up things, and the question was the spaces in between, how many spaces there are, how big the spaces are. Now Mishnah Tes continues with another thing they can do, and that is Makif and Shleisha Chavalim. They can surround the area with 3 ropes. Zeh lamayla mizeh, zeh lamayla mizeh, v'zeh lamayla mizeh, one on top of the other. Ubelvad shlo yehei ben cheva lachaveroi, as long as there isn't between this the ropes, shloisha tefachim, 3 handrests. All right. Now take a look at this picture. See the bottom picture?
Mm-hmm.
So you've got
to shine this way, yeah. Wow.
Right. So you've got in this picture, you've got 3 ropes.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom to the first rope, the bottom rope to the middle rope, and then the middle rope to the top rope.
Parallel.
Right. So in all these spaces, the Mishnah says, if you set it up in a way that there's less than 3 tefachim between the spaces, then you're going to be good to go. You're going to have a halachic wall.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is because that we have a rule, halach Moshe Sinai, a principle passed on from Moshe that Moshe received at Har Sinai, that when you have a space of less than 3 tefachim, you consider that space filled in. So if you basically set up the two ropes from each other less than 3 tefachim, then the space in between is considered filled in. Okay. Once I hit 3 tefachim, I can't say that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be within 3 tefachim that I fill in the space. If I hit 3 tefachim, it's not considered filled in anymore. So therefore, what's happening now is that if I set it up in a way that I have, let's say from the ground to the first rope, less than 3 tefachim, and then for the next rope and then from that first rope to the second rope, less than 3 tefachim, and that rope to the top rope, less than 3 tefachim, then the area left 3 tefachim in between is considered filled in. So what do I have so now of this filled in area, how much do I have total? I have a little bit less than 9.
Yeah.
A little bit less than 9. And then the Mishnah says, so now, but you have to have 10, right? You have to have 10 tefachim to have a wall. Lahalacha. According to Jewish law, you have to have a wall. You have 10 tefachim to be a wall. So how are you going to make up that tefach and a little bit more? And that the Mishnah says, shir chavalim va'avyan, the size of those ropes and the thickness, meaning the thickness of them, totals yasser al tefach, more than a tefach. Kedei sheyehei akol asara tefachim. So between everything, you'll have 10 tefachim. Yeah. So you've got the actual rope, you've got actual, you have something actual there, right? You've got less than 3 tefachim until the next rope that gets filled in. You've got the next rope in the area that it takes up, less than 3 tefachim to the next rope, then the next rope to the bottom to the ground. Yeah. So between everything, between the filled in space and the actual rope, I will then have a total of 10 tefachim, and therefore I will now have a kosher wall. And if you make 3 walls like that around the area, you have a private domain, you have a Rishus Hayach, you carry within there on Shabbos. Now, what's interesting to point out is that in the previous Mishnah, when we spoke about they were making those walls with the saddles and the blankets and all the stuff, so we said you have to make sure that there's more closed space than open space, right? Even if the open space is less than 10 tefachim, you have to have more closed space than open space. Paretz has to be, you have to have paretz kaimed, you have to have at least half and half, right? You have to have at least half and half. If you have more of the paretz than the aimed, than the open than the closed, it's not kosher. Now here, clearly, right, it seems I'd have more open space than closed space. Yeah. The answer is I don't. Because here, since they're less than 3 tefachim from each other, it's considered filled in. In that Mishnah, there were more than 3 tefachim apart from each other. So the concept of lavud, this concept that it gets filled in, which is called lavud, doesn't apply there. All right, so it doesn't apply there. So the open space, we said, is a pesach, it's a doorway. And as long as I don't have more doorways than a closed area, it's going to be good. And as long as my doorway or whether my opening isn't more than 10 tefach, isn't more than 10 amis, I'm good. But here, the point is that I have a different concept to work with. I have a concept called loved, that when I have an area less than 3 tefachim between two things, it's considered filled in. It's considered filled in, then I have closed space. And therefore, although actually there's more airspace, but halachically that airspace is considered filled in, and therefore I have a full wall. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you,
Thank
Rabbi.
you.
Now, having said that,